Hey guys, it's your boy, Ballface 8020, back again with another great commentary. I know I already did one today, but what happened just now is I watched a video, Casey's video, I think it's from today, where he gives more information about what happened with Brittany. So here's what he's saying. Before he even starts to explain what happened, he says that the breakup really fucked him up. He said that it took him a year to get over it. And I would say that he's still not over it, but that all he could think about was her smile, and that sometimes he would just smell her perfume out of nowhere and it would bring it back, and that he couldn't sleep because he was thinking about her so much, and the first thing he thought about when he woke up in the morning was her. And I'm not mocking him here. I'm just this is all stuff that really caught me off guard. And how he lost 15 pounds because he couldn't eat, and that his dreams were all about her. And I gotta say, I didn't think he had it in him. I really didn't think Casey was somebody who was capable of forging those kind of romantic bonds. I didn't realize that. I really thought he didn't really have feelings for her. I thought he was devastated over the breakup because of what it did to his self-esteem and self-image. But no, he really did love Brittany. Maybe he still does. And I guess I misjudged him. I misjudged him in that sense. And I'm certainly sorry for the heartbreak he went through, and it seemed like, if you've been following the Casey saga at all, it seemed like for a while that he had actually gotten something out of it, that he was actually growing up, and it was making him better, a better man. And since then, of course, he's gone the exact wrong way. But and this is what you guys want to hear about, is exactly what happened. We still don't have all the details, but he's given us more information. So and again, I'm not laughing at Casey's pain or anything like that. I know that this kind of shit can be extremely painful. Very painful, unpleasant, and I don't doubt that he's suffering at all, and I don't think it's funny that he suffered. There may be some sort of meta humor in the overall situation just because of how bizarre everything is, but certainly his suffering, there's no humor in the fact that he was suffering, and is to still to some extent. But anyway, so what happens is Brittany goes on a 2.5 week vacation. Okay, she barely talks to him at all. Now, before the vacation is over, he starts blasting her with, "I really can't wait to see you. I'm looking so forward to you coming back." And then he realizes that when she does get home, he's not the first person that she contacts. She contacts somebody else, so he reaches out again. It's like, "Yo, what's the deal here? Come on, you just got home. You haven't reached out. Let's go get something to eat," or something like that. Now, I'm not sure how this would work, because my understanding is that they were living together, so I don't really know what was happening here. But who knows? Maybe she was staying at her mother's or something. Who knows? But maybe they weren't living together. I don't know. Actually, that actually wouldn't surprise me, now that I think about it. They were together, but they weren't. I don't know. Were they necessarily living together? I don't know. But anyway, so then she hits him with a text, not a phone call, a text saying, "You're a really nice guy, but this isn't working for me anymore. I don't want to do this anymore." And Casey's words, I don't know if I'm going to do his exact words, but it was something to the extent of, and this left me scratching my head thinking, what do you mean? What do you mean, this isn't working for you, or that I'm not the guy for you? What about all these years we've spent together, all this time we've spent together? And, I know how he feels. I don't personally know how he feels, but I can understand why he'd feel that way. Before the heartbreak is the confusion. What's this about? And I think it's more common for men to be on the receiving end of this Like, like if a man is not feeling it anymore, he's more likely to give you a reason, like a reason you can understand why. I think with women, it's much more common for she wakes up one day and is just not feeling it anymore. I'm not saying all women. I'm not saying most women. I'm not saying that men don't do the same thing. I'm saying, and it's not a thing of blame. It's not a thing of blame when women do it. It's not a thing of blame when men do it. I mean, certainly if you're on the other side of it, it's got to really hurt. But that kind of stuff happens. So, but anyway, what's interesting, I mean, the heartbreak, breakup, that stuff happens. Certainly that's not interesting. It's not funny. It's just unfortunate, that he had to go through that. What is interesting, though, is the lesson he took from that. He thinks, based on what he said, what he thinks happened is she pulled away because when she was on vacation and when she came back, I was too eager to see her. And that caused her to lose attraction to me. It's like, how fucking autistic and retarded are you, Casey? Because if she goes on a 2.5 week vacation without you, it was already over. She had decided well before she took that vacation she was done with you. She needed time away from you to clear her head, to see how she felt, and then she was going to do it. 2.5 weeks? A 2.5 week vacation without your significant other? No. For a high school and college age, maybe. Mid-20s, no. 2.5 weeks? No way. And you weren't, and if the only way that would maybe be okay in a relationship is if you guys were talking like every night for like an hour. Okay? No. She had decided well before that vacation, she left on that vacation, she was done with you. You were so clueless that you somehow missed all the signs. But another interesting thing about this is it doesn't necessarily mean that, and this is something that seeing this video made me realize, like, I had always thought, like, Casey, was just broken, which, I mean, he is, but he's broken in that he couldn't even feel these romantic connections, which obviously I was wrong about. And that Casey's, just inability to feel love and to be a good boyfriend is what destroyed this relationship that he had. That was a really good relationship for him. We haven't heard her side of the story. We don't know more information. I'm not certain that's the case. That if maybe Casey, like if Casey, that I'm not sure that Casey's being like a red-pilled weirdo in his masculine frame thing is what ruined the relationship. I'm really not sure anymore. It seems like it would be what it is, but I'm not sure it is, because Casey was like that apparently even before he met Brittany. And they had gone through things before. So she had knew from day one that this was something she was going to have to put up with. And she did seem to be putting up with it. And obviously, like, I mean, on video, it seemed like he was never showing any affection and just being a spurg. But it sounds like in private, obviously, he was either showing, I mean, if he was there, it was there. Maybe he wasn't showing it enough. But it's hard for me to believe that he wasn't showing it at least somewhat. He seems to be indicating that he was thinking he was showing it too much. And, but, it actually, all the thing makes me more sympathetic with Casey's point of view. Like, why does he think? Because I was actually thinking, like, he had the relationship, and it would have worked if he could have just stopped being such a red-pilled spurg about everything. And then when it failed because he was being a red-pilled spurg, and then he wrongly interpreted the failure as because he was not enough of a red-pill spurg. And it's certainly possible. I wouldn't be surprised if it contributed. But especially, at first I was having my doubts, and now I'm actually saying I think no. Because he was getting older, so he's probably was starting to grow up a little bit. And my guess is he was getting more normal in the context of the relationship. that would explain like why he's so confused about it, like why he's like, well, after I started being like nicer and more romantic, then that's when she pulled away and lost interest. It's one interpretation. But I think that I don't think I use, so anyway, what I'm saying in so many words, I'm sorry, is that I thought for a long time that Casey ruined his relationship with his red pill bullshit. And I just don't think that's what happened. I think that I was wrong. I think that Casey was getting away from that, actually, and that the relationship failed ultimately because she lost the feels. Why did she lose the feels? Well, she may have realized, like, God know, after she got, took the love goggles off, she may have realized this guy's actually a total idiot. That's possible. I mean, she did, based on what I couldn't tell if she IQ mogs him, although I wouldn't be surprised if she did, but she seemed to EQ mog him for sure. So that could be it. And another thing is could be just like that. I mean, I don't want to say it's women because it's just women. It's not all women. It's not most women. Maybe it is most women. I don't know. It's not all women, and there's men like this too, as I said earlier. But sometimes women just lose feelings. I mean, men do too. And I mean, they made that whole movie, Blue Valentine. Like like the I didn't actually see it, but I read about it. And like the guy in the film is like, well, what is it? What have I done wrong? What do you need from me to fix it? What do you need from me to fix it? And she's like, you didn't do anything wrong, and there's nothing for you to fix. The feelings just disappeared. And so I mean, I don't think there's any need to like vilify women for that kind of stuff. I think that maybe if there are kids involved, then maybe in that case it would depend. Like maybe in that it would really depend on the situation. It would really depend on the situation. But as that kind of stuff happens. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's tough. Like if I think Ghost would have to be kind of scary for. Let's just say that this kind of thing that happens, like the just losing feelings all of a sudden. Because my understanding is that it's not uncommon with women. It is uncommon with men. I've never even heard of it happening with men, although I'm sure it does. But my understanding is that it's not uncommon with women. And I don't know if it's most women or not. But it's got to be scary to know, like the girl in Blue Valentine says, like, how can you trust feelings if they can just disappear like that? And then for a guy, if you're in a relationship, like, how can you know that, one day she's going to just wake up and not have those feelings anymore? And there's nothing you can do because there was nothing wrong you did in the first place. I mean, that's got to be, I don't know. That's got to be tough. But anyway, so the lesson, so you understand why Casey learned the lesson that he did. It's like, yes, Casey is a fucking moron, but he's not being quite as illogical as we thought. Because what was probably happening is he probably was getting nicer. That is when she started to pull away. He probably started to try to compensate by being nicer still. Then she went on the vacation, and then he went into total simp mode when she was gone. So he thinks, oh, well, that's it. That's what drove her away. It's like, no. You were doing all that simping. Part of it was growing up, but part of it was you could subconsciously tell she was pulling away, that she had lost interest. But there's a causation and correlation effect. She was already pulling away, irrespective of how you were acting. And so the Casey, because that Casey still has that, from that formative thing with, the thing with his parents' divorce. His mom, for whatever reason, calling Casey and his siblings into the living room to tell them that she had developed feelings for her personal trainer. And that would have traumatized the shit out of me. So I'm certainly not surprised that it would stick in Casey's head. So in Casey's mind, everything in Casey's mind, everything happens for a reason. He's got, I don't know if Casey's a Taurus rising, but he really comes off that way. But he definitely looks like a Taurus rising. But so Casey's mind has always been like, what did my dad do wrong that caused my mom to lose feels and fucked up our family? And, so, and that's in his mind still, it's like the idea like, it doesn't even occur to Casey that she just lost feels because. And there's absolutely nothing there was no reason behind it, and there's nothing that could have prevented it. That's not the way Casey's mind works. He's incapable of understanding. So he thinks that what has to be some reason, and it happened when I was like being more connecting to her. So since it has to be some reason and it happened as I was connecting more to her, that means the reason she left is because I was connecting more to her. It's very like retard low level logic that that's just incorrect, but you can follow it. You can understand why he feels the way he does, and it really makes me understand him a lot better. And I feel more sympathy toward Casey because for the first time I feel like there's actually a real human being underneath there. That he's not just a narcissist. He does have feelings, and if he just hadn't got caught up in this red pill bullshit, he'd be doing a lot better. And like a lot of this spurging shit he does is coming from a place of real hurt and real confusion. There is a big part. I mean, Casey probably does just want the boring, happy relationship and family. He probably doesn't really want this red pill stuff. But this is what he believes. I mean, he's wrong, but this is what he believes works. I mean, to me, it would say like, and I've heard other people say this too, like even people who are self-described incels who say that like they really do want a relationship more than anything would say that if the only way they could be in a relationship was to like do the stuff Casey says, they wouldn't do it because that's like, yeah, they think being single is painful, but how can you have like a relationship like that is just torture, where you're like constantly putting up a front like that's not a relationship. That's just self-torture. So no, I mean, I'm glad Casey shared it. It makes me understand the guy a lot better. It gives me more sympathy with the guy. It's just, it just shows, how and again, he's so impressionable. That doesn't seem like a Taurus. I don't know. I'll have to look into this further. If anybody can find Casey's chart, send it over to me because I got a lot of questions. But no, I get him a lot better now, and I'm rooting for him. I wish him well. I think it's unfortunate he learned these wrong lessons, and I hope that he's able to find a girl who he can girl or woman who he can make something work with for in the long term. And I think it's really possible that he will. That's all for now. See you in the next.